must have noticed by now that a lot of people seem really obsessed with labels. Make a joke about a gay bloke and you're homophobic. Denounce blowing up a stadium full of kids, you're Islamophobic. State there are only two genders, you're transphobic. Say anything that someone disagrees with, you're a Nazi. But those on the far left have also been labelling themselves according to their various subgroups in an attempt to appear as more interesting than they actually are. And in the spirit of this fruitless struggle, we meet Roly, who has gone above and beyond the call of social justice duty by throwing caution to the wind and throwing biology out the window.
Hi guys.
What the fuck is that? Is it venomous? What do I do?
Hello. Okay, so today does happen to be non-binary day.
Or as I like to call it, take your social issues to work day. Seriously, why do they get a day and who decides these things? Where do I send my complaint?
Now, this wasn't planned, but it just happened, so happy non-binary day.
Oh, and a happy my mum said I was special, but it turns out I'm not, so I make an incredible effort to be non-conforming day to you too, Roly.
Obviously, it's not going to be up when that happens, but I thought today I would talk about a subject that I get questions about all the time.
Oh, well, this should be... Oh, you're praying. Oh, sorry, I won't disturb you. You seem disturbed enough.
When anyone talks about my gender and my identity and then my sexuality, I always get this question.
What happens when you walk past a magnet?
And that is, how can you be gay and gender fluid?
Now that's a damn good question, considering homosexuality is an attraction to the same gender. How does that work? And if there's a gender fluid, is there a gender solid too? And a gender gas? Seems stupid, but give it time.
So for anyone who is like rather new to my channel and doesn't really know that much about me, I am non-binary, I identify as non-binary.
Well, shit, I think we all had money on that, Roly, for several reasons. I mean, you're talking about gender on YouTube, that's a big sign, but it's the septum piercing for me. Huge giveaway.
And my sort of like section of non-binary is gender fluid. So gender fluid is my label.
You see, they fucking love labels. So we have his gender, which is the magical third type of gender, while somehow not being a gender at all. And then we have a subsect of that gender, which is his label. Bitch, it's your fucking biology, not a fucking Russian nesting doll.
So gender fluidity is basically where my idea of my gender doesn't sit in one place all the time. Sometimes I gravitate towards more female, sometimes I gravitate towards male.
Oh, nice! I see today you're leaning more in the mentally disabled direction.
Sometimes I sort of gravitate towards one like in the middle. It never really stays in one place.
But how can you be non-binary when you gravitate towards either male or female? That's one or the other, that's binary. And I know you said gravitate towards the middle, but that's looking at gender as a spectrum, which would imply feminine males and butch females share similar qualities, which they don't. So that would mean the two genders have a spectrum of their own, which would still mean gender is binary. Now that was either massively fucking clever or I ballsed it up. Let me know.
Now it's not as quick as like saying one day I wake up and I'm female, one day I wake up and I'm male. It's not that quick. It's a little bit more blended, but that is my terminology.
I'm pretty sure you wake up male every day, Roly. If you must insist gender and sex are different, I mean they're not, but then you still wake up as your biological sex, don't you? And if that confuses you, maybe don't feel the need to wake up at all.
But when it comes to my sexuality, I do still use the label gay, and that seems to send people into like overdrive and they're like, what? How does this make any sense? So
yeah, because most people didn't experience some psychological trauma during their childhood for them to conclude that gender is in your head. You can't blame them for being confused when you've taken basic knowledge and given it a fucking septum piercing.
One thing that I want to say first that a lot of people don't want to accept is that sex and gender are completely different things. They're not the same thing. So many people will just say to you, if you've got a penis, you're a man. If you've got a vagina, you're a woman. Nay, bitch. Like, that's not how it works.
Well, no, it's actually down to 5 factors, including external genitalia, and your feels aren't one of them.
Your gender is up here and your sex is down there. Do not get those two confused. They're completely different things.
Look, nowadays, thanks to bullshit like this, there is a use for gender, which is more to do with gender identity, but that doesn't change the actual meaning of the word, Roly. Using social and cultural terminology to define something biological is like attempting to stick your dick in your own asshole. They're impossible to connect, but some people will try anyway.
So for me, with my gender and my sexuality My gender is gender fluid.
Then that's your gender identity, you fucking reptile! How lazy are you that you can't be asked to use the word identity anymore? This is what happens when you give these fuckers an inch. You go, alright, you can have your gender identity, I don't give a shit what you think you are, and as soon as you turn your back, they're stealing fucking words off you. And when you go, oi, what you doing? They're like, what? We've always had these. It's as though they saw two words that mean the same thing lying around and thought, well, they don't need both of these, do they? Thieving bastards.
It floats, it blends, it changes. I'm fabulous and I love it.
Yeah, well, I've just changed the word fabulous to mean someone who finger bangs cats.
But when it comes to my sexuality, I still use the label gay, as I did before I came out as gender fluid.
You come out as gender fluid? Why? I mean, no one can tell how you identify unless you make a huge effort to show everyone how you identify. In which case, no fucking need to tell them. Oh, no, wait, it's for more attention. Yeah, I got it.
Before I understood my gender and just identified as male, I still used the word gay, and I still use it now.
Holy shit, I've just realised gay doesn't mean happy anymore, really, does it? Thieving bastards. Keep an eye on the word gender, people. They've done it before.
I like the same as what I have. I'm predominantly male presenting. I'm still gender fluid, but I do present most of my time as male.
Why did he finger quote male? Are we actually disputing if male and female are real now? I can't fucking handle this. This is some next level wank from the son of fucking Voldemort.
I have a more masculine physique.
Well,
I'm obviously getting muscles and things, which is obviously like directed to more masculinity. I have biologically male reproductive organs.
yeah, fucking half of us do, mate. Ease up on the gusto there. It's not really much to be proud of. Well, mine is. I'm not so sure about yours. But I'm just saying, the guys who identify as non-binary aren't generally the ones with big dicks. But don't ask me how I know that. I don't want to talk about it.
And that is what I like. I like people who are the same as me.
Snakes?
It doesn't matter what necessarily their gender would be, but to me, I like people who are presenting male, who have male genitalia, who have, you know, a masculine sort of physique. I like that myself.
Not as much as you like a 10-second explanation on a word we already know.
Now, some people will say that I am androsexual, and androsexuality is people who like masculinity in males.
They fucking love labels, man. What's the word for attraction to petite Latinas in prison outfits, but will still fuck a fatty? I bet they have a label for that.
And yet, that's what I like. But to some people, androsexuality can also include masculine females and like females who, you know, present more masculine, who are just like quite, you know, blokey and stuff.
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Almost like when you fuck around with the English language, people have a hard time understanding what you mean.
But I don't find those people attractive. I don't find that, you know, that's not something that I'm seeking out in a partner. For me, I am, you know, sexually and romantically attracted to the same as what I am.
All right, Roly. I thought you were giving us an explanation, not making a video for a fucking dating website.
And that is why I use the label gay still. To the outside world and to the people who perceive me and stuff, I look male.
Well,
And it's annoying because I really wish I could look more androgynous, but I can't. So, you know. But for me, that's why I still use the label gay.
yeah, because you like the cock. We get it, Roly. If you want to explain anything, tell me what happens when I connect the moles on your face and neck.
Because I like the same as what I've got. I like the same as how I present. I like the same as what I am.
Well, that's good news for people with spunk for brains then.
Gender-wise, I am gender fluid because they're completely different things. Just don't... I know it's confusing and I know it can be weird to some people.
Is he now talking about gender and sexuality being different things, or did I miss something?
And again, what I'm saying in this video might not necessarily tie up to how you feel, but that's perfectly fine. Like, don't be so, like, policing these terms.
Policing? Nigga, you've been adamant that gender means something other than what it actually means, and now you want to talk about policing. This guy, man. This guy. Digging that living room, though. You must be making big bucks if you can afford a fire inside your TV.
Policing how you should be identifying other people, because it's not for you to determine other people.
And it's not for you to tell me how I should identify other people, Roly. I don't give a fuck how you identify, that's all you. But you have no stock in telling me how I should see someone else. If I think you're a cunt, then I think you're a cunt. And I think you're a cunt.
No one can tell me any differently because it's my body, my mind, it's my choice to, you know, label myself as these things, and it makes sense to me.
You said gay was your label, and then you said it's your choice to label yourself as gay. So, is sexuality a choice?
You can identify as whatever you want to identify as, and just because it might not fit in like 100% to what that label might officially mean or whatever, like, it does not matter.
Well, I'm glad we can agree on that, Roly. It doesn't matter one fucking bit. It's not important in the slightest.
So please just remember that sexuality and gender are two different things.
Oh my fuck, he did! He did mean it! Holy shit, Roly, not one person on this entire not flat planet thinks sexuality and gender are the same thing! Oh, fucking hell. Share some of that weed, man.
They're on completely different spectrums themselves. No. Sometimes they can interlock.
Well, not as much as sex and gender, which have interlocked so damn hard that they're the same fucking thing.
And all of you already know, if you ever watch a video about gender or anything, how much people go insane. Like, people are literally insane about this topic.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned gender and people start spreading shit up the walls. Asylums are full of people rocking back and forth and muttering pronouns. Literally insane about this topic.
They get so irate and they're so disrespectful towards people, and also people inside the community. And this is what I really don't like. People inside the community can be so
gay?
PC police and so insane that they take anything that doesn't necessarily match up with what they feel is an attack. And it's not half the time. Sometimes it just comes from people who are just slightly ignorant or just slightly, like, unsure about what to do.
So, you're either ignorant or unsure. Is there any chance that instead of that, Roly, maybe you're fucking retarded?
So I hope this video has been slightly enlightening to some people, and I hope you could have get a better understanding as to what my identity is.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess you are in between a dude and a chick. You're a dick.
And actually now in future, I generally introduce myself to people as non-binary rather than saying I'm gender fluid. I get into that sort of like later on in the process because non-binary I feel like is a little bit more easier to explain to people.
Why are you explaining it at all, Roly? If it's how you identify and it doesn't matter what other people think, why do you need to put it on other people? Probably for the same reason you wear coloured contact lenses. For attention. I mean, it's an accessory you can't even see, and I don't know if I'm talking about the contacts right now.
People are just starting to know about non-binary stuff, let alone then going to subdivisions of gender fluidity and gender flux and gender queer and agender and all these kind of things. Like,
they fucking love labels.
Using non-binary for me sometimes is just a bit easier than trying to explain this. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video.
No! So there we go, guys. Proof that having learning difficulties doesn't hold you back when looking for love. But you also have to pick your battles. And by you, I mean the SJW crowd. Because if gender means how you feel or how you identify, then explain the gender wage gap. Thanks for watching, guys. Please consider becoming a patron so I can stop relying so heavily on the 62 pence YouTube gives me per video. The link is in the description, and remember... Nah, nothing happens.